Water holds many secrets and mysteries, be it unusual creatures in lakes and ponds, or giant leviathans in the deepest oceans. From strange folk tales to mysterious mythologies, this is the top 10 water creatures. Number 10. The Kelpie. From Scottish folklore, the Kelpie is a swamp-dwelling shapeshifter, most often seen in its horse form, that would entice people to climb on and take a ride. But once in physical contact with the Kelpie, the person would become stuck to it and would head back towards the water, changing its form into a horse with a fish-like tail, similar to the hippocampus from Greek mythology. The Kelpie would proceed to dive into the water, pulling the victim with it, drowning them, and start to devour them. The Kelpie is also known to take human form, or sometimes a horse-like human hybrid. The way of telling the difference between a horse and a shape-shifted Kelpie by its constantly dripping wet mane. Number 9. The Ninjin. There's been a strange creature spotted in the oceans of the Antarctic, a large pale white cryptid called the Ninjin. Sized around 20 to 30 metres with a humanoid figure, along with human-like arms with 5-digit hands, and with legs or a fish-like tail. It's possible that the Ninjin could be a misidentified whale, but being some of the witnesses were crew members on a whale research ship, if anyone knows what a whale looks like, it would be them. Number 8. Mermaids. In the current age, mermaids have become one of the most assimilated creatures in common culture, with a variety of different kinds like Disney, anime, creepy, and frappuccino. But going back to the times of nautical exploration, setting sights on a mermaid was heard of in places all over the ocean, possibly mistaken for water-dwelling mammals like the manatee, but sailors would still put themselves at risk of capsizing just to get a closer look at a possible mermaid. But to be fair, being surrounded by a bunch of sweaty hairy men for weeks on end, no wonder sailors would crash into rocks just to get a closer look at something vaguely woman-shaped. Number 7. The Aspadochalone. The Aspadochalone is described as a giant sea turtle, fish, or whale, with a size big enough to be described as a small island, where sailors would dock, and once on land, where the massive creature could submerge unpredictably, dragging down the sailors and the ships with it. In 1989, scientists recorded a sound measuring 52 Hz. They believed it to be a whale, but it was far higher than any other whale call. The creature that made this sound was given the name the loneliest whale in the ocean. Could this be the sound of the last island whale? Number 6. The Kappa. The Kappa is a very strange creature from Japanese mythology with a humanoid shape, blue or green scaly skin, webbed fingers, a turtle-like shell, with a strange bowl-like indentation on the top of the head that when filled with water increases their strength and changes them to a more aggressive attitude. The Kappa is known to be a trickster and would do things from spit water at people to dragging them underwater and drowning them, where they would consume one of their 2 favourite foods, human flesh. The other being almost unspeakable: cucumber. To this day there are signs near bodies of water throughout Japan warning of the Kappa. Number 5. The Megalodon. The scary thing about the Megalodon is it's proven to exist, and maybe still does. Less than 5% of the oceans have been explored, so it does seem possible that a monstrous shark could have survived a few mass extinctions in the Mariana Trench. Growing to the size of 50 to 60 feet and having the bite strength stronger than anything else known, the Megalodon was the apex predator of its time, and might still be. Number 4. The Bunyip. The Bunyip originates from stories from Aboriginal tribes of Australia that tells of a strange creature that lives in the swamps and deep waters, maybe to keep children away from dangerous places. But sightings of an actual beast go back 200 years, but the descriptions of the Bunyip tend to change, often seen as a large mammal-type creature like a large tiger or a bear, and others describe it to be somewhat bird-like, which gives the possibility that the Bunyip is a shapeshifter. But if you want to hear something from the world of the strange, check the link in the description for the Bunyip song from Dot and the Kangaroo. It's haunting. Number 3. The Kraken. The Kraken is probably the most talked about sea creature of all time. In folktales on the ocean, in books like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, in video games like Legendary and Tomb Raider, and in movies like Pirates of the Caribbean and Clash of the Titans. The Kraken is usually described as a giant octopus or squid that uses its huge tentacles to pull down ships into the briny deep. The origin of the Kraken is said to have originated in Norway, where the majority of the people would spend a lot of time on the ocean sailing and fishing, so seeing a mysterious tentacle jump out of the ocean trying to grab you is a good basis for a legend. Number 2. Yamatano Orochi. Yamatano Orochi is a giant serpentine monster with 8 heads and a drinking problem, who lives upon the River of High, who demanded a sacrifice of a daughter from an elderly couple who lived down the river of Yamatano Orochi. This went on for 7 years until their final daughter, but as luck would have it, an exiled god named Susanoo, who was passing by and had a plan to trap the Orochi by preparing very strong sake in the centre of a gated fence. The Orochi would become intoxicated and the gates would shut in place. There Susanoo could decapitate each head one by one, making the High River flow red with blood. Number 1. Jormungandr. From the deepest depths of the oceans of Midgard lies the Great Serpent, son of Loki and the giantess Angrboda, Jormungandr, whose very movements caused the giant waves and the movement of the tide itself. The only being powerful enough to battle Jormungandr was the thunder god, Thor, and with his mighty hammer struck the Midgard serpent with a deadly blow, felling the Leviathan. But with a powerful spray of his venom, the Thunderer would die shortly after. Jormungandr is one of the most legendary beasts throughout all of mythology. His size is so vast that he can coil around the earth itself, and the sign of the Ouroboros, a giant snake consuming its own tail, was inspired by him, and for these, the Jormungandr is the greatest creature in the waters. You made it to the end, well done you. Think there was any subnautical creatures that I missed? Leave them in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, bake me a hat, knit me a cake, and just remember, don't be afraid of the water, be afraid of the terrible things inside it.